Welcome.
Welcome to what, buddy? What is this? What are we doing? Welcome to Smokey and the Snobby. God. All right. Hey, what's going on out there?
Hello. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay.
Yeah.
My, oh my. It's recording day.
Yep, it is recording day.
How you doing, man?
I don't know why we're singing a song.
I don't know. I just react to your silly drum roll. You do.
Well, that was from the last episode.
Yeah, well, this ba-ba-ba-ba-ba thing you do. I just, I react to it. What's going on? How you doing?
Going good.
Yeah?
My semester's almost ending pretty soon.
Yeah, it's finals week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at you.
Yeah.
That's 1 year down.
It is 1 year down.
Infinity to go? We going straight to our doctorate?
I don't know.
Yeah?
Well, I'm thinking about coming back during the fall, so...
Yeah, that's you got to finish your degree here, and then you're going to get transfer
Yeah.
to get your bachelor. And then you're going to get your bachelor's, and then what? Master's?
Mm-hmm.
Doctorate?
I think so.
Postdoctorate?
I think so. I have to look more into it.
Postdoctorate?
I have to look more into it.
Do you want to get a doctorate in multiple things?
I have to think about it.
Think about it and get back to me at the end of this episode. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. You know what you want to do, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You know what you want to do, but
Yeah,
you don't know
I
how
haven't
far
figured
you
it out.
want to go on the education path yet.
Not
'Cause
yet.
Doctorate's like 7-8 years of schooling.
Oof.
Yeah. You can keep going. You'll be like 30 when you graduate. But what would you get a doctorate in film studies?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I have to still do more research on that.
Yeah. Microbiology.
No.
Get your bachelor's in...
I'm not getting into biology.
Get a bachelor's in arts and go for microbiology.
I'm not getting into biology. I'm not passionate about science like that.
Be an archaeologist. Like, what's his name?
No, not like Indiana Jones.
Heck yeah, man. You see that guy? He gets a cool hat, runs around shooting Nazis.
I'm not passionate about that.
You're not passionate about killing Nazis?
What? There's more to it than just punching Nazis, and also too, they don't exist.
And the Haggadam Stiggadams. Remember?
They don't exist.
He fought the...
No. The only equivalent to that is neo-Nazis, and that is
He fought the
it.
Thuggee cult, too, in the second one. Remember the second
But
movie?
they don't exist.
The best one. What is it? Temple of Doom?
Not the best one.
The best one.
That's very debatable.
Haggadam Stiggadam.
But no.
It's a good movie.
They don't exist.
Archaeologists exist.
Yes, archaeologists exist. But I would never take a job like that.
I would. That's it. I would.
Okay.
That's my response to that.
All right.
I would do it. But I don't know if I want to go to school for 20 years just to learn how to use a shovel and a brush. Mm-hmm. I am diminishing. That's terribly insulting to the archaeologists that go to school for like 20 years. And to Indiana Jones. It seems like that guy, like, you're supposed to be a professor, and he's just running around stealing the Ark of the Covenant and stuff.
He has a double life.
Sounds like a good job. Sounds like a fun job.
It's a double life for Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I bet you there's too many rules and regulations now, where there wasn't in the early 20th century. It was a free-for-all. Didn't they just steal King Tut's tomb and, like, took it to England?
I thought they
found it?
They found it way before that.
Yeah, they found it, like, in the early... Oh, like the 1800s?
1920s.
There you go. That's around the time Indiana Jones was Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, the movies don't start until, like, the 1930s. When King Tut was discovered...
He's, like, in his 40s then, but in his 20s, he could have been part of that King Tut thing.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or the Fifth Element. Remember when they opened up that pyramid in the Fifth Element?
Yes.
Yeah. That would have been a fun discovery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sure would have been a fun discovery.
I love that when you talk serious, I just start going nonsense and talk about movies that have nothing to do with archaeology. Although it does have a little bit to do with archaeology.
I wish you guys can see my expression, but...
You don't have an expression. It's just disdain. Yeah. The expression...
What?
The expression on your face is, I can't believe I have to sit here and talk to this guy for an hour about this stuff.
Well, yeah, I feel that way like half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually do too. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My face, always a grimace when we're talking about...
Grimacing?
Oh, I wish they spent more time on this one character. I wish we had an extra 3.5 hours of this movie so we could learn about
I said this before.
minutia.
No. This is actually necessary for that movie we were talking about.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No.
You didn't provide any substantial evidence.
95% of the movies we watch, I don't care what the character's doing.
I care. That's what you call getting yourself invested in a story and a characters. That's the whole point.
Well, you know what? We watched this movie that
Yes.
we're going to review today, right? Mm-hmm. And does it get into does it dive into the character, every character in this movie? No, but they give us enough so we have enough. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. They give us a little summary of this guy is this, he's from here, he does this, and he does that. This woman's from here, she did this, this is how she ended up here. That's all we need to know. I don't care what this person did on a Tuesday in 1922. No, I don't.
Because that's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
But, no, and the way you described it is irrelevant. With my Uncle Raphael, it's very obvious that they were building up to it. I talked about this last week. I'm not getting into this again.
Okay, I think I'm still upset about it. A week later.
Well, get over it then.
Yeah, I'm going to have to because you don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yes.
And we're going to have to... okay, we'll move on. That's it. What do you want me to say? I'll move on. I'll forget it. It'll come out in weird ways. My frustration with you about it is going to come out in weird ways. Maybe I'll deny you meals. You're not eating dinner tonight.
You're just leading into world hunger.
Dad, can I go to the movies? No, you can't go to the movies.
No, you're
not worthy of it.
No,
sit down.
You're just leading into world hunger.
No.
Yeah, you're
Why?
Causing world hunger.
Why? Because you're my world.
Yes.
As my son.
Yes, you're my world.
I never deny you a meal.
Oh. Well, I mean, unless if it's...
I deny you certain luxuries, like your fancy shampoo or something. Do you have fancy shampoo?
No.
Oh, then never mind.
I have normal shampoo. What are you talking about?
Do you have like
that you would get in like CVS?
Do you have like a complicated skincare routine? You don't have one, right? You just wash your face?
Yeah.
Okay, then, I mean, yeah, you're living pretty basic, so I can't really take anything from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Fun one, too.
Well, I'm going to have to move on from this. Then I'm going to have to forget it.
Good job, Dad.
Forget it and move on.
You really did so much on archaeology.
I know.
Focus so much on archaeology.
I want to do an episode just on archaeology. On an archaeology documentary.
Maybe?
We should do it.
I don't know. I don't think there's really any good documentaries about archaeology.
What?
Sure. I don't know.
See, that's a genre you don't really dive into too much.
No, not really documentaries. Although when there is a good documentary, I'll definitely check it out. Like Crumb. Crumb.
I don't know what that is.
It's based on Robert Crumb.
Oh, he's a writer?
He's a comic strip like underground artist.
Wasn't there a movie based on that guy too? With what's his name?
Oh no, that's a different person. It's with Paul Giamatti, right?
Paul Giamatti.
No, very different person. Crumb is a documentary about. You ever heard of Fritz the Cat?
Yeah.
That's the guy who created Fritz the Cat. Robert Crumb created the character Fritz the Cat, and he hated the movie. By the way,
did he?
Yes.
The documentary?
No. Robert Crumb hated the Fritz the Cat movie that was adapted in the 70s.
Oh, well,
he hated it.
I bet you like that.
And
check.
I really like Feels Good Man. That's a really good documentary too.
Yeah.
It's about Pepe the Frog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like any kind of documentary. Really, I'll watch anything. Wildlife, political. I don't really like crime documentaries.
I don't care for crime documentaries.
I love history documentaries. Today's movie is based on some horrible events. Mm-hmm. It is the wrap-up to Armenian Heritage Month.
This is the wrap-up, and this is a very interesting film to end.
Yeah, it is an interesting film.
I guess
it's heavy.
It's well known in the Armenian community, not necessarily well known as a movie on its own.
It was a major motion picture.
It is. You know, you got actual
Big
film
budget.
stars in the film. You got Oscar Isaac. You got Christian Bale. You got James Cromwell's in the movie somewhere.
James Cromwell's in it. Boris the Blade
he doesn't
from
show
Snatch.
up until like the last few minutes of the movie, though. James Cromwell.
Well, yeah, he played a small role. But
Leon
there's a
the
lot
Professional.
Angela Sarafian, isn't it?
Her. She is a well-known like Armenian actress. Like she was just in Superman.
She was
Jor-El's wife.
Right, she's Kal-El's mom.
Yeah.
In Superman, which now welcome to the tribe, Superman. What's his name?
I mean, in a way, Superman is an immigrant.
Clark Kentian.
I mean, Superman is an immigrant.
He is an immigrant,
so you can interpret it that way.
Technically, he is part of the Krypton diaspora. But yeah, she was in that movie. But today we're talking. So this is one of the heavier movies that we've watched, with kind of like a weird romantic backdrop.
I'd say this is more so the heaviest film we've done.
I think so.
I guess you could say Amagotsi is probably the closest to, but even
Amagotsi
then,
was
it
too.
still has levity to it, you know?
There are moments of light.
There's glimpses.
There's no comedy.
Promise definitely doesn't have that.
Promise. Yeah. So we're reviewing, what is it? The Promise.
Which I only knew about the film because it was directed by Terry George, the same guy who directed Hotel Rwanda, which is also a movie about a well-known genocide.
Right, in Rwanda.
I remember
the Rwanda
liking
genocide.
that movie, although I didn't love it. It was a competently well-made movie that depicted the subject matter in a mature way.
You have to be
And
careful.
the performances by Don Cheadle was very good. Even though he's not Rwandan himself, he does make it believable.
Oscar Isaac is an Armenian, and he spoke Armenian very well in this movie.
He was pretty good in this movie, actually. Yeah, I mean that's kind of expected by this point from Oscar Isaac. There's a lot of great...
Funny enough, I used to think Oscar Isaac. I'm like, this guy's got to be part Armenian. Those eyebrows and that nose is like
he's not.
Is on point.
He's Hispanic.
He is Hispanic. Yeah.
So he has a Hispanic background.
I don't think they could have cast a better. Like they could. It would have to be an Armenian actor they cast.
I say he gets better around the
couldn't cast a better
second half
person.
of his acting. If you're asking me, I think just one moment I remember really standing out is when he's part of this like Armenian revolutionary, or trying to like get back to like the boat or something like that. That was a great and powerful scene where you can really express the emotions. And I love the fact that he's not like overacting with some scenes. I like that.
You're not going to like it, but I like that there was a lighter version of it in the beginning, that they were showing the humanity of citizens of Turkey living their lives openly, right? They were allowed to practice their religion in Turkey during the Ottoman Empire. They were allowed to own and run businesses. Be in schools, accepted in schools. Although there was a degree of, you are not Turkish, you are Armenian. Even though Armenians had lived in the Anatolian highlands for centuries, for millennia, right? So I like that it used historical prominent villages that were populated heavily by Armenians. They talk about the Van resistance. That was a huge Armenian community in Van. They talk about the Musadag resistance that for, upwards of 50 days, thousands of Armenians defended themselves in the mountains of Musader. And like you said, were saved by the French. This movie covers a lot.
It does.
Of areas of the Armenian Genocide, sprinkling of romantic.
And that was the part that...
Everybody is saying that it was romantic overtures. I don't think it was that.
I say it was the case in the first half of the movie. It felt like that to me in the first half. That's just me. I think it felt like that in the first half.
Right.
And then the second half changes. To me, I don't think the story needed a love triangle, and there was no way that I don't think it was a great idea, if you're asking me.
They had to lay the groundwork they were living in a society that accepted them for the most part.
Yeah, but I didn't really find that interesting at all. There can be good love triangles. I'm not saying that you can't, but for this movie and its subject matter, I don't think that was necessary, if you're asking me. And I think there could have been a better way of handling that.
Yeah, I don't know if there was, because they have to have some sort of aspect to it, because they didn't dive right into the genocide. The movie is about humanity and love and survival.
I don't think he should have had a relation, like a love relationship with this girl that she met. I think it should have been just a normal friendship, I feel like, and that should have been the case.
Yeah, it would have made sense for them to be friends. He was betrothed to Maral being Angela Serafian. He needs to go. His family owns an apothecary in Sirun, and it's a small village in Turkey, and he wants to become a doctor and go back to his village and be a doctor. So he wanted to go to Constantinople at the time, which is now Istanbul.
Yep.
Right. It was the only way he could afford it is by getting married to Maral, because he would take the dowry and go be a doctor. So he's lived in this insular village his whole life. He didn't see the world beyond his village. He goes to this large metropolitan city, meets God, what was her name?
I forget.
Oh my God, what was her name?
Time for looking up names. Wow. But
what was it was the French actress.
I forget her name.
Yeah,
but for
I'm gonna find it.
I'm glad they did not develop on this love triangle, and I'm glad it went nowhere. But at the same time,
Anna, Charles Le Bon.
There was no reason to really set that up, if you're asking me, when it goes nowhere. If you ask, by the time we get to the second half, it goes nowhere, that love triangle. It is gone.
All of the scenes leading up to April 24th, because that's when everything changes.
Yeah.
Because that scene, everything leading up to it is his experience in Constantinople. He befriends one of the general's sons who actually becomes, in my eyes, one of the heroes of the film.
He basically is kind of the hero of the story.
Emran, I think was
that's
his name.
And he sacrifices himself.
And again, right, this movie is about the events of the Armenian Genocide in the first year or two of the massacres, right? The pogroms, the massacres, the trains, all of it. They take a lot of information and dump it into this movie. And in the first half, none of that exists. Everybody's living kind of harmoniously, although there's undertones.
And I wasn't exactly a fan of it, in my opinion. Like, when we got to that hotel scene and they're trying to, like, escape from, like, the Turkish people, and then they're, like, having, you know...
Right. They finally have their kind of, oh, I love you, you love me.
I find that incredibly just out of place for that kind of movie, you know?
Yeah, I don't see why it needed to be there. That tension could have existed, but never executed.
I just don't think they should have developed it at all. I don't find that particularly interesting for this movie.
I think their friendship was more compelling than their love interest.
And that should have been the case, right, if you're asking me. Their friendship.
She's an Armenian girl who left and lived she went to the Sorbonne in Paris, studied, came back because her father killed herself. Like, everybody's story is tragic in this movie.
Yeah, and then something...
Except Mikhail, except Oscar Isaac here. There's nothing tragic about his story yet.
Oh boy, no, not yet.
So I agree with you. I think there was a bit... I think they leaned in too much to the love story, the love triangle thing, and... but
it doesn't seem like it affects any of the characters. I think there was a moment,
seems to care.
Like in the second half of Anna, where she was like, where she like left that dinner table when he told her that I have a wife.
Right.
It's like a lie. Is it like a lie revealing?
I don't even know, because she's dating. She's in a relationship with Christian Bale,
and the problem is it goes nowhere. So I'm like, what's the point of having tension?
No, you're right. There is no like tension. There is no. Also, Christian Bale plays an Associated Press reporter who picks up on what's going on, and he's saying, you know, something's happening to the Armenians. You got to get out of here.
Oh yeah. But speaking of,
he's in a relationship with Anna.
Yeah.
This whole time, he knows that she's in love with Mikhail. Mikhail's in love with her, and does nothing about it. They somehow stay and remain friends. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but. Then I ask, I'm like, what's the point of setting this love triangle up in the first place? What was the point of it?
Yeah, they didn't need to do any of that.
It definitely felt like that in the first half, and it does get a lot better as it goes on. That's probably the reason why I don't love the movie.
What did you, okay. Overall, though, did you, what was your take on its depiction and revelation that the Armenians are about to be slaughtered and deported and become not even second class, like third, fourth class citizens? Do you think it did a good job?
I'd say it did a decent enough job for this kind of story. You know, it didn't come across as like torture porn. It didn't come across as too exploitative. It felt competently done. It's very similar. It kind of reminds me just of Hotel Rwanda, because that movie was also a good enough depiction of the Armenian genocide that was going on.
The Rwandan genocide?
Yeah.
I think whenever you do movies like this...
I think that's the same way I feel about this with the Armenian genocide.
You're walking a tightrope with movies like this, because you want to make a dramatic film and you want to keep people in their seats watching and engaged, but you also want to do the events justice and honor the events that spawned this stuff.
I know this.
So it's a tightrope.
I know this is based on a true story, of course, so I can't really...
It's based on true events.
Oh, based on true events.
Right.
Those characters are
There's no
fictional.
love triangle. There's no love
But I think
triangle
there are just
happening.
some scenes I kind of found weird in the way it depicted it. Like, right in the start, still, that hotel scene was very odd to me.
Yeah.
And just like them having some action scene with
Right.
like Oscar Isaac and the Turkish soldier, and I'm like, I mean, come on.
However, the scenes of the Turks walking through the streets.
I wanted to say that like it didn't felt natural to me because
What didn't?
I think it should have given
Their love developing.
not that, and also too there was kind of a action scene between like Oscar Isaac and the Turkish soldier, and I don't.
Those
think,
weren't Turkish soldiers.
No,
Those were just regular Turks.
Those were
that
just-
have been fed propaganda to hate the Armenians. Lived side by side for centuries, and now they're hated. That was a tragic scene. You're talking about the fight scene where he fights them off, and yeah, it seemed forced. It seemed like a forced scene.
but I also too,
I did like that she was beating the guy up with cabbage, though.
I wish they could have set that up for like the climax of the movie where they do strength up and actually fight their oppressors. Like that fight scene at the camp.
It was tumultuous. That time was tumultuous. The Armenians had an idea that, remember, news didn't get around as quickly back then, right? This is before there was like instant film and cinema and all that stuff.
I mean, film was around during
news
this time.
traveled by word of mouth and by
film was around for a while. It just was not nearly as refined,
right?
As
And
they were now.
the events that were occurring in Turkey, in the eastern part of the country, were not part of the war front. It was very far removed from World War One. The events happening.
I mean, it still took place during World War One.
It took place during World War One, but it was far away from the battlefront. All the battles were being fought in Europe. That's where all the reporting was being done. That's where all the whatever hardware they had to capture stories, whether it be cameras, film cameras, whatever they had, that went to the battlefront, the European front. It's not making its way to Eastern Turkey, but there was missionaries, there was people on the ground, there was British soldiers, ambassadors. There was a lot of the
medical aid.
A lot of the information that was coming out of Turkey at the time about the genocide was coming from missionaries. And first accounts of consul generals, American, in Kharpet, in these regions that had a large group of Armenians, seeing them rounded up. In Istanbul, in Constantinople, I think it was April 24th, essentially, and months leading up to it, what became the equivalent of, Armenian Kristallnacht, right? They started looting, they started beating, they started burning down Armenian-owned and Armenian-run businesses. His uncle, who's a very successful textile merchant, who's lived side by side and worked in the bazaar for centuries,
I don't know if you
for
noticed
years.
that, but like one of the first scenes, like when Oscar Isaac's character or Michael shows up, he like looks mad, and I'm like trying to understand why is he looking mad at him.
That's just the Armenian resting bitch face.
Is it really that? Because like I can't tell with like expressions.
Don't
like
I have that look where sometimes you're like, Dad, you're all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I'll be like that sometimes. So I'm like, why is he expressing this? Is he like hating him or something?
No, I think he's just a serious man.
Wait, is he jealous or something? That he's like,
he was very nurturing. Actually, he was very supportive of him.
And then didn't his character die or something like that?
He was one of the people rounded up on April 24th.
Oh,
yeah. Because he was a prominent figure in the Constantinople Armenian community.
Oh, okay.
So that to me was the beginning of the movie for me, right? Because that was what I was anticipating. Everything before that moment was just Armenians living their life in Turkey, as if nothing goes wrong. They go to that event, that birthday party for his friend, the Turkish friend, whose father's the general.
Oh, yeah.
And Christian Bale's character, the American, is talking trash to the Germans.
Speaking of Christian Bale, I think this is our first film talking about Christian Bale, I think.
This is our first Christian Bale movie?
I think this is our first Christian Bale movie.
Cool.
And, while this isn't his best performance, in my opinion, he is good in this movie.
I think he's great in it.
He is very good. That's just expected from Christian Bale by this point. We all know he is a very good actor, and he does pull up a pretty good American accent.
I wonder how selective this guy is, because he must have chose this movie.
He must have
right?
chose the
It's not like he
film-
auditioned for The Promise. The Promise.
Probably not. Maybe
Probably
he
reach out
is
to him.
aware of the Armenian Genocide.
I think there's
Probably
yeah.
give attention to it. Or maybe it could be like Christian Bale, maybe like this director and wanted to work with him.
Maybe. I think it was a well-made film.
It's a, yeah, it's, I think a good word to describe about it is that it's competent. That's
Okay.
it. It's a
I thought it was
competently well-made
Very
film.
well made. I thought the scenes depicting the Armenians during the marches were very well done.
Mm-hmm.
What was the most impactful scene to you?
Oh boy. I think the most impactful one doesn't show up until like the second half is when I think Michael finds that almost his entire family was brutally slaughtered.
That was tough to watch.
That was very hard to watch. It didn't felt too exaggerated with his emotions. It felt very real. It didn't feel like he was overacting in those scenes. Like, it felt real.
Yeah, I think he did a wonderful job depicting the anguish
Yeah.
of loss, the immense anguish of loss that he felt.
And Oscar Isaac, I think, conveys that very well. The pain and the grief of losing his family very well.
Yeah. That was a tough scene to watch.
Yeah, it's not an easy scene to watch.
No, especially since we're so connected to it. Especially since
I just did it
that is
because-
one of thousands and thousands of stories of what happened to our people.
But also, too, you kind of get yourself weirdly invested in Oscar Isaac's character. He's kind of, like, endearing, you know?
You start going, I hope this guy gets to kill some of these
That's,
soldiers.
to me, the moment I started to get myself very emotionally invested in his character, and you feel his, like, journey. And I didn't love him in the first half. I kind of found him to be... He's decently likable, but not to the point where I find him very interesting, you know?
Yeah, just a boring guy from a village in Turkey.
I don't exactly find that engaging in the first half, but he
That's
does
the thing.
get
You
better
see him
in the second.
transitioning into, essentially, he becomes a freedom fighter,
Yeah.
right? Although he's not capable of being one, right? He's a
No.
doctor at the end of the day. Kind of, he's very passionate about being a doctor.
But it is satisfying to see him stand up against the Turkish soldiers in the first fight
Yeah, it was
at that camp scene.
It was honorable to see him kick somebody's ass in Constantinople too, even though it was forced. I know what you're saying.
Yes.
The fight
Yes.
choreography could have been a little bit better.
There's points where the film kind of felt weirdly edited at points. It felt like there was a lot of ADR in a lot of scenes.
There could have been. It might have been done in the studio. I could tell in the scene
You can
where
definitely tell. And also,
Right.
too, there's a lot of green screens, and I wasn't necessarily a fan of
the
that.
shots of them in the bay, overlooking the bay. You know they're not.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll be honest with
Yes.
you. They did not film this in Turkey. Turkey most likely.
No,
would've.
they filmed
I don't
this
even know if they
in
tried, but Turkey would
Spain,
deny the hell out
Portugal.
of it. Right.
And then the funniest one of all, Long Island.
Yeah, the scene at the end is Long
At the
Island,
Watertown, Massachusetts.
Well, Watertown-
I just think it's funny that you just film a scene in
Right.
Long Island.
Why not film in Watertown?
I mean, you could have filmed it in Orlando. It would not be much of a...
No, it would. Watertown. You guys can have palm trees. Watertown is one of the largest Armenian communities. Concentrated Armenian. Of course, absolutely. The largest concentrated Armenian communities on the East Coast. And it was much larger post-genocide. A lot of Armenians had emigrated to Watertown.
Yeah.
So it's huge on our Armenian American identity. A lot of it spawns from Watertown.
Oh.
A lot of our newspapers came out of Watertown, still do. A lot of our institutions are headquartered in Watertown, like our athletic unions, our political organizations. A lot of them are headquartered in Watertown still to this day. So
I did not know that.
there was
Yeah.
So there was a very distinct reason why the movie said Watertown, because there was a large influx of Armenians from the genocide survivors going there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
makes
absolutely.
sense.
It was filmed in Spain. And Spain, Portugal, because Turkey wouldn't allow them to film.
Well, and also
Turkey
too,
to this day
Turkey
denies the
has-
Armenian genocide.
Yeah, they have... It's a policy. Like, you have to follow its rules.
There is a law.
Like, you can't recognize...
There is a law in Turkey that at one point, I don't know if they still kind of abide it, but if you insult Turkishness, you can go to prison. And
Countries like that are very strict.
no, they're very...
I mean...
They're
Turkey, countries like that.
Fascism is what it is, and that's really what it boils down to.
It is, but also
there's still an Armenian population living in Turkey. Mm-hmm. You know, and for anybody to speak out against their denial policy, they would charge them with insulting Turkishness. Hrant Dink, who is the editor-in-chief of Agos newspaper in Turkey, an Armenian language newspaper, was tried under that thing, and he was found not guilty, thank God, but he was assassinated by a Turkish nationalist years later.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was a turning point in Turkish society, though. That was a step too far. So they started allowing Armenians to commemorate the Armenian Genocide in Turkey. They allowed more vocal opposition to speak to it. But it got nowhere, right? And Turkey to this day denies it. And this movie most certainly would not be allowed to be filmed in Turkey.
Definitely not.
I doubt they even asked. I wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's also why we don't really see a lot of
that's why you see
Armenian genocide movies, because, well, a lot of times
you can't do
you can't really film
scenes on site. That's for sure. You
really can't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And a country like Turkey is very strict on their laws. And
right. So you get the Bay of Istanbul in a green screen. They don't get, that's why. And you're right. That looked a little off.
It did look distracting.
Right.
Especially for this kind of movie.
Right. It's a $90 million budget.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of a scene from Bridge of Spies where they were kind of showing off like a CGI plane for like the spies, the Russian spies.
Right.
And I'm like, why did you add this in a movie like this? Come on.
Yeah, they could have.
Imagine that in that entire scene in Istanbul. That's exactly what it was.
I'm guessing living on right on the bay.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
You've seen that.
Yeah, I have. But I'm guessing if you live right on the bay, you're prominent, you're wealthy. So they kept showing scenes of like the Turks living on the bay, and his uncle lives on the bay, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess they had to go for it and say, well, whatever, we'll do a green screen. One of the scenes that and this movie enraged me. Right. It doesn't.
Which
make
right.
It makes me think of the stories I heard. It makes me think of your great-great-grandmother's stories. Your great-grandfather's stories. He essentially hid in a barrel of yogurt for 5 days, coming in and out as he tried to hide from the Turks. Your great-great-grandmother was thrown in the Euphrates, and only her and her aunt survived. So she was maybe 5-6 years old. She never talked about it. But on about 2 years before she died, we have family from Buffalo that came and interviewed her and recorded it. But she only wanted that person to interview them. So I'd like to get those tapes. But a lot of the things we saw are stories that we have heard from survivors' mouths. They have been there, and they're all similar. An Armenian that's never met another Armenian in this part of the world has a similar story to the Armenian in another part of the world. So, 1.5 million Armenians murdered in the span of 5-6 years, and the rest deported. So, this movie tried to convey the early days of that and the horror that it encompassed, which in turn made me enraged. And B, the scene that hit me the hardest was he escapes the prison camp.
Oh yeah, that scene.
That explosion made me so happy. That Armenian guy that said, "Hey, thank you for saving me," and he launches the damaged dynamite at him, and everything blows up. Hero. I said it on the thing. I'm like, you might as well take some of them out because you're going. You might as well take some with you, and he did that. But Mikhail escapes, and he's walking along the trains. He jumps on a train. He catches a train, gets on top, and he hears children crying. And those children are his countrymen. They're his kid. They're Armenians being transported to wherever, who knows where, and then going to be deported into the deserts of Derzor. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're screaming for water because they're all just encased in these train cars, moving to God knows where. That's the only scene that broke my heart and then immediately enraged me.
Oh.
That was a tough scene to watch. Mm-hmm. He couldn't save them. And I think that anguish carried with him till the rest of the movie. Led to his thing.
I mean, he ends up helping a lot of Armenians at the end of the story.
He does. He makes his way back. It does
enhance that a lot more.
Yeah, he makes his way back to his village. Mm-hmm. Marries Maral, which I think he should have done in the beginning. He should have married her, then left.
Yeah, no.
I don't think the other girl in this love triangle was good for him. I think Maral, his
or it shouldn't
fiance,
even been a conflict.
He shouldn't even, entertained it.
It shouldn't have been a thing at all.
Right. And I think Angela Sarafian's performance in this was phenomenal. Even for the little amount of time she was in it. She was such a loving and adoring wife to him. Mm-hmm. And he eventually fell in love with her too. Mm-hmm. Although when he sees Anna again, Charlotte Le Bon, I think some of those emotions flood back. But he tells her, I'm married and I have a kid. I have a kid on the way. And that's when it all fell apart for them, which is good because, like I said, Angela Sarafian is
good.
His wife was a better suit for him, his character. Who is your favorite
character?
Yeah, who's your favorite character in this?
That's a great question. I think Oscar Isaac's character ends up being the best one here.
Yeah.
Generic to say, I know, but I think at first I didn't really like his character that much. I didn't find him to be unlikable, but at the same time, I kind of just found him to be pretty boring. But he does get better and better as he goes on as a character, and he starts to have a bit more
agree with you.
Depth to him.
I think this is one of his best performances in a movie.
It's good, but it's not my favorite.
No, it may not be your favorite of character of his, but I think
performance.
I think it's one of his best performances. I think he could have done better with the accent a little bit. That's okay.
I think he was pretty consistent.
I think he could.
Felt like it was flipping.
He was just speaking. It's an English-made movie, so I thought he spoke Armenian better than he spoke with his English accent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I'm going to do honorable mention. Angela Sarafian, I thought, was phenomenal in this.
She was good.
However, I think she would also been better suited cast as Anna as well. I think she would have been a great Anna as well.
Well, the thing is with Anna, that character is like a French Armenian.
No, she's Armenian.
Yeah,
that grew up in France. She was from an adjacent village from where he was from. Her mom died, and the father took her off on his business trips.
I thought Angela Sarafian. Yeah, I thought she was good, although she didn't really leave much of an impression to me until the end.
She was gone from it.
We don't see her that much at all in like the first act.
Spoiler alert: that scene you talked about, where he finds his family dead.
She is one of them.
She's one of them, along with their unborn child. And that's...
I wish you guys could see my expression, but like I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, that was a heavy scene.
Yikes.
That was a heavy scene.
And what's worse is that by the time we get to the end of the story, he loses everyone.
Well, he was on the way to get them so they can escape through Musada, from Basek. Remember? Yeah. And they didn't get there in time. And they were all murdered. The priests were murdered. Gomidas Vartabid was murdered in April 24th, who was a famous Armenian musicologist. A lot of the hymns we sing, a lot of the music you hear from the old days was written by Gomidas Vartabid. And so a lot of these prominent figures are killed, and then regular people are being killed left and right. And whoever's not killed is being deported. That's where you saw the lines of Armenians carrying off into the thing. My favorite scene. Yeah. What's your favorite scene? I asked you what your most tragic scene was. What's your favorite scene?
I like the scene when he was talking to one of the Armenian refugees, and he was talking about his story with being in the circus.
The guy that blows himself up.
Yeah, that was a nice tender moment of like humanity left in these characters, and it was pretty well done.
Yeah. I don't know why they chose a clown as the character's profession.
I mean, Jerry Lewis made a movie about
he was doing that scene in that scene he was doing something with plates. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
Jerry Lewis made a movie about a clown who goes in the Holocaust.
Oh.
Never going to be released though, that movie.
No. But nope. But no, for me, it was the scene when the Armenians that were, remember at the end, towards the end, they're taking the orphans to the village so they can escape.
Yeah.
And they just see a convoy of Armenians leaving. And the priest, he stops and talks to the priest. He says, hey, where are you going? He's like, well, the Turks are telling us we're going to relocate and, we're going to follow them to Derzor. Derzor is where most of the Armenians were marched off to. It's a desert. No provisions, no food, no water. They're eventually killed. And if they couldn't handle it, they'd stick them in caves and light them on fire. There's still skulls and bones still coming out of the ground in Derzor. So we know that going into it. The priest is putting his trust in the Turkish gendarmerie that they're going to keep them safe. Mikhail says, you're all going to die.
Well, and also too, Turkey lies to a lot of Turkish people.
Of course they are.
The Turkish government.
They're lying to everybody. This is all happening.
Where they're like, well, I think I remember there's a scene when he was talking with Christian Bale, and he's like, we're moving all the people.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm the barbarian.
Region. Yeah.
I'm the barbarian. Because that one Turkish pasha, the pasha of that region, was helping the missionaries get the Armenians out because he had a sense of humanity.
Yeah.
Right. He said, this is wrong. We're not going to do this. There was plenty of Turkish politicians and things that knew what was going on and were trying to fight back on the underground. Those people are forgotten now. Mm-hmm. Right. Those are the people that should be held up in Turkey as heroes, as, hey, they stopped this, but they're not. They're forgotten. They remember Talat Pasha. They remember Anver Pasha. These guys were the masterminds of the genocide. Yeah. Right? Remember I told you about that scene where he found all his family dead? The Armenian that assassinated Talat Pasha, Soğuk Montelerian, he was in that same circumstance. And that haunted him till his final days. The vision of his mother haunted him till his final days. Yeah. And like I said, one bullet wasn't enough for Talat. Should have been more. Killed him with one bullet in Germany. But this movie, that scene, to me was my favorite scene. Him compelling the Armenians to go, do not go. Because Boris the Blade is in it from Snatch.
It's somehow connected back to Snatch.
Anybody that looks remotely Armenian has been cast in this movie.
I can't believe it.
Boris the Blade, he's saying, we stay and fight. Yeah. And everybody's like, what are you kidding me? We don't have any weapons. We have no way of fighting. He's like, it's better than dying. Yeah. It's better than, I'd rather die this way than die that way. And Mikhail, Oscar Isaac is telling them too. He's like, you are going to be killed. There is no way out. There is no safe passage for you. And that's where we learn about the final scene. They're talking about running into Musaler, which is a mountain in that area, to hunker down and fight the Turks. And boy, do they fight the Turks. Yep. That's my second favorite scene. The scene where they're fighting the Turks, they're hiding, they completely planned out the battle, and they overran the Turks in the first day, knowing that the next day it's going to get worse. Right? Yeah. Right. But
yeah, it's a satisfying scene
where Oscar Isaac is like, yeah, give me a gun. I know how to shoot a gun. But he couldn't pull the trigger to kill the Turk. And then realizing that his services were better, mending people. He's a medical student. He was served better.
No, but it felt satisfying.
It was very satisfying. That was my happiest.
That's where I think the action scenes should have been in place, if you're asking me.
I think there was a lot of action scenes in place. There's a lot of tension. Like the final scenes where they're escaping, the French come to collect them. Christian Bale convinces the French admiral to go pick them up.
There's a real Titanic moment.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But again, tragic. You see it coming. With a movie about genocide, it's all tragic all the time.
Nobody's going to end up alive.
No one's going to... Yeah, the only happy ending is you maybe get a glimpse of the survivor living a somewhat normal life.
In America.
Somewhere.
Anywhere,
but the road to that happiness, the road to that happiness for a lot of Armenian families and a lot of Armenian communities is paved in their family's blood. It's why it's so important that we don't allow anybody to steamroll the events and to minimize what happened. Yeah, and it's continued to happen. The same director made a movie about the Rwandan genocide that was in the 90s. Yeah. It's insane. It's insane that the world allows these things to happen.
Unfortunately.
And they say, oh, it's not our fight. What do you mean it's not your fight? This is humanity. This is people. This is people.
A whole group of people you're killing.
These aren't soldiers.
No.
These are women, children, the elderly. They're being mistreated. If it's not the powerful's job to do something, whose job is it? It boggles my mind. This is why I can't be a politician. This is why I can't do this.
That's hard. It's not an easy job.
You know what? It is an easy job. If you have the right moral compass, if you have the right values, it's an easy job.
Yeah.
There is a bad guy in this situation, and it isn't the Armenians.
Nope.
There was a bad guy in Rwanda.
You know who also is
And it wasn't the Hutus or the Tutsis.
Yeah.
There was a bad guy in the Holocaust, and it wasn't the Jewish population.
No.
There was a
I
bad
wonder
guy
who
in
that
Cambodia, and it wasn't the people. It was the Khmer Rouge, right? It's in these moments, there is a bad guy. There is no distinction.
But also, too, USA.
There's no gray area.
USA is starting. I mean, basically, we're responsible for bombings in Cambodia, too.
We are. Yeah, I'm not taking away from the events. Not even go
It's
back.
Like,
to
USA.
To the Native Americans.
Come back. You're not.
Back to the Native Americans. But the Americans and the Germans and some of these societies have come to terms with their events and apologized.
Yes.
Or provided reparations or whatever they did. Turkey doesn't do that. Turkey denies it.
I think USA also did it with Japan.
Japan denies it with the Chinese. Japan denies it with the Koreans. They've done.
I mean, Japanese have accepted USA's apology to the point
they may have, but the
Obama
Japanese
and
themselves,
John Kerry went to the Hiroshima as like a memorial.
They may have, but the Japanese themselves have committed atrocities that they deny till this day too. They don't even deny; they've erased it from their memory. Like, well, no, that never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So they need that mirror to be put in their face as often as possible.
Yeah.
And the Armenian community at large, that's our job. No one else is going to do it. It's our job to put that mirror in front of their face. And you know what? It should be our job to put that mirror in other people's faces too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to kind of put it into perspective.
Yeah, if it's happening somewhere else, we have to bring attention to it.
It's urgent.
It's
an urgent thing to
deal with. These
badasses
fighting on Musaler for 40 days and kicking some ass, that's a semblance of, we have a saying in Armenian, "Okhla," like, oh, good. They deserved it.
Yeah.
Those Musalertsis are heralded as heroes in the Armenian community.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all over the world. The Armenians from that region eventually settled into Lebanon.
Yeah.
A large prominent of it. The village of Anjad in Lebanon is where they all settled eventually. So we have plenty of friends from that area. We have plenty of descendants from that area. They're all hailed as heroes. Even their descendants. Because they fought.
Yeah.
And they resisted for 40 days.
Sorry, I've been saying, yeah, I was just like, I just don't really have a lot to say.
I'm steering away from the movie. I'm talking about historical events. So I'm sorry. But this movie does a good job of kind of wrapping all that into it because there's a lot. The chances of Mikhail showing up on Musadat to fight resistance is slim to none.
Yeah.
The fact that he's alive throughout this whole movie is actually a miracle.
Yeah.
He should have died at that prison camp.
But you also just kind of just feel bad for him. You feel just kind of empathy to Oscar Isaac's character by the end of the movie.
Who's died at this point? His father gets murdered.
His uncle.
His uncle.
His mom.
Well, his uncle, we never hear from again.
His wife.
His wife. His aunt. His uncle's wife, Lena. Mm-hmm. The
two other daughters.
The uncle's daughters, except one. His wife. His father-in-law. His mother-in-law. Everybody's dead.
And his
third lover.
Christian Bale?
No, Christian Bale apparently survives. But Anna dies too. Anna dies in the last...
Christian Bale does die too, his character.
Yeah, but not in the movie. They say, oh, he died.
He died in the Spanish Civil War.
So this guy is going through an immense amount of trauma. He's already experienced it himself, just for himself, right?
But there is a sense of optimism at the end. There's this, it's bittersweet in a way for his character, Yeah. He ends up having a life, has his big family.
Right.
And has his daughter.
Dies. Let's just start there.
Yes.
Everybody died.
Yes.
There is about to be... It's the beginning of what I would call generational trauma.
Yes.
Okay.
It's definitely a generational trauma.
It doesn't end. Although although the Armenians in that last the last scene is a perfect representation. And as an Armenian, I can relate. Right, but you too, as Armenians, we can relate. You see it and you go, yeah, there is this desire and pull to maintain our culture and our identity. Same thing with Amirigati. Remember Amirigati?
Yep.
It's
almost like we watched it a couple weeks ago.
Right. He's a genocide survivor, and that pull to be with his countrymen was so strong. Connecting with his people. That, in the final scene of this movie, where his niece is getting married, he's adopted, his uncle's daughter who survived. Only him and her. Everybody else dead.
Yeah.
He says it. He says, "It is good to be with all of my countrymen today." Because there's nothing sweeter. We made it through.
Yeah,
we have scars. Yeah,
it's a nice ending to this story. Specifically,
I love the final scene where they do William Saroyan's poem.
That was nice.
I should like to see any power of the world destroy this race.
It's nice too.
A small tribe of unimportant people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's nice too.
Yeah, it is.
But that is the movie.
You see it. You see it in my face. but you see it in my face, right? When we see something, I'm like, oh, this is Armenian.
Yeah.
There's a light that goes off. Like, well, we got to meet them.
But there's also like a Titanic moment with Anna's character. Anna's character.
How did she? I forget what happened.
She drowns.
Right, but how did she drown? She doesn't know how to swim.
I think there was like I think their cannons, the Turkish people's like cannons.
Oh, it hit her.
Hit the boat or something, and it led her out of the boat. Yeah.
Maybe you don't know how to swim.
She's like, okay, I will say that is kind of dumb. She couldn't figure out how to swim?
Wow. Have you ever swam with clothes on?
No.
They're very heavy.
Really?
Yeah. And back then, she was wearing like layers and skirts and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff gets heavy quick. And if you
Really?
Yeah. And she just spent like an hour carrying a little kid down a mountain.
I call that a Titanic moment.
Yeah. I don't think it was that. Right, yeah.
It reminded me of Titanic. It kind of gave a very Titanic.
Yeah, she does.
Which, for this story, no. I mean, Titanic is also a fictional story that happens to take place in a real event.
Yeah,
that's how this is like too.
Right. Exactly. I don't know.
It's fictional characters in a real.
I don't know if Mikhail existed as a real person. I don't think they did.
No.
Yeah. But
but that's kind of it. I don't have a lot of strong thoughts on it. I'm like, this is a well-made movie. And that's about it. I didn't have a ton to say. What did you think of the movie overall? I was conflicted giving it like a 7 or a 6.
Yeah.
But I kind of ended up giving it a 7 just because I do think the second half of the story is a lot better.
Yeah.
And I was really worried the movie is going to develop this dumb love triangle throughout the entire movie.
Oh, God, thank God it did it.
I am so happy beyond belief.
Yeah, no, thank God
I'm
it did
so happy it went nowhere. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's narrative.
I was really worried it was going to be like a out of Africa kind of situation.
Oh yeah, I would have been so mad.
You know what movie I'm talking about, right?
I would have been insulted. I'll be honest with you. If that was the case, I would have been
bad.
Right. I don't think
that would have been terrible. I'm very glad this movie ended up becoming different.
Right. I think for Amirigati, I understood that the genocide was a backdrop to this character,
but also too it happened.
This movie, the genocide was the main thing.
30 years after the Armenian Genocide.
What's 30 years now?
Well, Amirigati.
Right, but what I'm saying is he was a survivor of the genocide.
Yes.
So the genocide plays a role in his life, but it's not the main theme of that movie. Where in this movie, it had to be the main theme.
Because with like out of Africa,
it couldn't have been the love triangle. If the love triangle was the main theme, I'd shut it off.
I would have shut it off too.
Shut it off.
I don't care.
I don't care if Batman was in it. I don't care if Boris the Blade's in it.
Okay,
I don't
Batman
care if...
would have been funny.
Right.
Batman. I mean, Batman is in the movie. You got Christian Bale.
You know what?
Yeah, Christian Bale.
He should have had his Batman batarangs.
I'm Batman. Oh, if that was in the movie, I would have turned it off. Like, come on.
God, if it was, I think I would be.
I was worried because, Out of Africa is also not a very good movie because that movie kind of focused. Out of Africa is a movie with Meryl Streep and Robert Redford.
Never heard of it.
And it's a movie that takes place in Kenya.
Yeah. What is it about?
It's a love relationship.
Oh, that's a love story.
It's like a war epic.
Nah, that's stupid.
See, it's stupid.
Nah, I'm not watching it.
But for me, I would give this like a 7 out of 10. This is
Really?
a well-made movie. I kind of think of it the same way as Hotel Rwanda, although I do think Hotel Rwanda is a slightly better movie than The Promise. If you're asking me, I do. Though that is a very good depiction of the Rwandan genocide. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think this did a good job of depicting the historical events, like major historical events.
It depicts it in a way
all
that
wrapped in one.
That all feels very, very true and very accurate to how the Armenian genocide was like, and that's kind of about it. That's my thoughts. I don't have a lot of strong opinions on this. Not a bad way of ending this off. I'm glad it's better than My Uncle Raphael, because I would have that would have been a terrible way of ending this.
Two completely different movies.
Yes, two completely different movies.
Completely different movies. But
by the way,
do you recommend people watch this?
Yes and no. It's kind of a weird thing for me. It's kind of the same way. Again, I think of Hotel Rwanda. It's a very hard movie to watch, and I mean that in a very good way.
I think if you want to learn more about the history of the world that isn't often taught in schools, although the genocide is becoming more and more talked about and discussed in schools. You guys talk about it in high school?
We did for a little bit, but I mean, the whole thing was very much focused on the Holocaust.
Right. For us
That
too.
is the focus.
Right. For us too. But there was no talk of genocide. You know why there was a talk of genocide when I was in high school? I made it a point for the teacher to talk about it.
Oh.
I said, hey, what about the genocide? This needs to be taught and learned. So even if you teach one person about those events, not for sympathy, not for empathy, but for don't let this happen again.
It's a cautionary tale.
It's a, yeah, unfortunately, that's what it's become. Right?
It's a cautionary tale.
Because history denied is history repeated. Genocide denied is genocide repeated. And we're seeing that. We've seen that through it. Why do I think people should watch this movie? Because for people that that want to learn about things from a cinematic and artistic perspective, this is a good movie that depicts the events dramatically.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
but also gives you an understanding of what the Armenians went through in a tumultuous period in their history.
It's a well-made movie, and I do recommend it for that alone. But that's kind of where my thoughts end.
Yeah.
I do recommend it and don't at the same time.
I think if you enjoy learning about history...
It's the same way I think about, like... I know those movies are very different, but Schindler's List, even though Schindler's List, I think, is a way better film than The Promise.
Yeah, it's
a hard movie to watch,
when you get a lot of money thrown at you, that's what you get.
But Schindler's List is a movie I recommend, very much recommend, if you like movies and just wanting to know a lot more about the Holocaust. It's a hard
I think
movie
we know
to
enough
recommend.
about the Holocaust. I think the Armenian Genocide, this movie does a good job of depicting the horrors of the first genocide of the 20th century. I think there's plenty of movies about the Holocaust that you can see. There isn't that many about the Rwandan genocide. There's only one about the Rwandan genocide. There's only one about...
Which is a real shame, because it is a fascinating story.
There's maybe 3 about the Armenian genocide.
Yeah, there's not a whole
There's
lot.
Ararat, there's 1915. There's 4. Ararat, 1915, The Promise, and I think Aret. Mairig is considered a genocide film. It's a really good film. I recommend you watch it. Do I recommend people watch this? Absolutely. Purely for the fact that if you want to understand a part of history through the eyes of through the eyes of the arts, this movie does. I think this movie nails it. So I give it a 7 out of 10 Smokies too.
Wow.
Yeah, there was that explosion when he blew up that Turkish soldier. That was like 3 Smokies.
I'm not getting myself in an argument with you again with explosions.
There's nothing more satisfying than that explosion.
No.
That is the best explosion
I'm not getting you in this argument right now.
Listen, since we started this podcast.
It's so dumb.
Since we started this podcast, that is my favorite explosion scene in all the movies we've watched.
That's so dumb. You don't rate movies with explosions in it in your official movie rating. You look at it as a movie. There's a separate rating for explosions.
Why are we having this conversation again?
I can't believe it. We're in this conversation again.
Every episode, act shocked that I rate movies based on their explosions.
I'm not shocked.
That explosion was awesome.
I'm not shocked by your dumb rating. I'm just beyond baffled.
Are you telling me that explosion wasn't satisfying to you?
It was satisfying.
Right.
But what does that have anything to do with the quality of the movie? The Smokey rating is the quality of the movie. It's similar to mine.
It increased the quality of the movie for me.
Whatever, man. I'm not getting into this.
Don't get into it. I'm not going to have this conversation.
I'm not having this conversation again.
I'm
not getting into this again with you.
I do not feel that I need to explain myself to you or anybody else.
I don't even know where to start.
Start at the end. Stop it. That's if there's an explosion.
Yeah,
if there's an explosion, and if there's an explosion of a Turkish gendarme who's been harassing and abusing and bullying these people,
I can't.
Even better. 4 Smokies. You know what? 8 out of 10 Smokies.
I'm not going to question.
I forgot. 8 out of 10.
I'm not going to question your dumb rating here.
Yeah, don't question it.
I'm not going to question it again.
Don't question it.
This is the last time I'm ever going to do it.
One day, we will do a survey of people and say, hey, do you think explosions play a major factor in how much you enjoy a movie? And let's see how many people say yes.
I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious how they're going to factor it in.
I wish I was a billionaire.
I hope people are not dumb.
I wish I was a billionaire. This is the kind of stuff I'd spend my money on. I'd like hire a focus group.
I'm not getting into this.
I'd hire a focus group to just do surveys of nonsense. So I don't know. I think people should watch it. I think people that enjoy history and enjoy dramas should watch it.
Yes.
And, you know,
it's a movie, again, it's a movie I recommend, and I don't recommend at the same time.
And the right people blow up in this movie.
You're right.
Let's see what the critics say. I bet you they don't talk about explosions because they don't know any better.
Yes, they probably know way better than you.
What do you think this movie did?
So this one got a 51%.
Oh, so critics panned it?
Not the worst.
I don't know. It's got a splat icon on it.
And it got a 91%.
Yeah. It was hard to find a bad
Which is a huge divide.
It is a huge divide. I'm pretty sure this was Armenian love bombed, as it should be.
It probably is.
There were some, you could tell they weren't Armenians talking about it. Like, there were some reviews where like, oh, this is a lie. The Armenians lie. Those are coming from Turks. So that just shows you kind of what we're up against.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
So there's actually... So we're going to look at the reviews once more. So we got a review from Rich Klein from the contactmusic.com. What is he doing reviewing movies? So he gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which is pretty much the same rating we would give the movie.
Yeah.
That means like 7 out of 10. It's like 70%. So he says, the filmmakers take a rather soft approach to the story, setting out a romantic plotline with the genocide as a backdrop. So the resulting drama is somewhat uneven, but the events are powerful that the film can't be ignored.
I don't think that's true.
That is true.
I don't think so. I don't think the genocide was the backdrop.
That's the case for the first half. Maybe. In the first half, it felt like that.
The genocide didn't start in the first half.
It was about to, and they were having...
There was none of that in the first half. It was the second half. It wasn't even. I wouldn't even say it's the first half of the movie. The first quarter of the movie is about that, and then the genocide.
It kind of has that a little bit where the girl. I think Anna leaves. She's like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, but that's spattered in between that. The main thing. I think this guy got it reversed. I think he got hung up on the love triangle, kind of like you did.
I mean, it still is an issue.
I didn't get hung up on it.
I kind of got hung up on that.
Well, there you go. You and Rich Klein should go to dinner together.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, Rich, do you want to go to dinner sometime?
Rich Klein, hit up my son. And go to dinner and talk about nonsense.
Oh, God. So we got a review from... And maybe talk about music.
Huh?
And maybe talk about music.
Where's music?
Contact Music. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Well, Contact Music.
Yeah.
What a weird website name.
We got a review from Peter Travers, who works under the Rolling Stone.
Oh, Rolling Stone.
And he gave it a 2 out of 4. Not the best. Could be better.
Do these guys just get to pick their numbers? Why isn't there like a standard rating system?
That is the standard rating.
This guy did 3.5 out of 5. This guy's doing 2 out of 4.
I don't know.
Pick a lane, people. Do you ever see us? Yours is best out of 10. Mine's best out of 10.
Well, they have different ways of rating movies, Dad. That's just how they are.
Yeah, there should be a standards
Director
committee.
Terry George delivers a scandalous dramatization of the Ottoman Empire 1915 genocidal annihilation of its Armenian citizens and indulges it with a soapy, invented love triangle.
All the critics were hung up on this love triangle.
I mean, I don't blame them. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't blame them.
I don't think it's that big of a part of the movie. I think it was a weird part of the movie. I just don't think it was a big part of the movie.
It definitely was I kind of would consider it a huge part in the first half. It felt like that.
So you keep saying, I don't understand.
Yes.
I don't think it was that big a deal. I thought it was weird.
It was a big deal at first.
I don't think it.
And then it devolves into no. And it devolves into coming a
It
different movie to me.
It didn't dilute the purpose of the movie for me. I just thought it was weird.
Yes, it absolutely was weird.
Right, but I don't think it was I don't think it overshadowed anything.
But it goes nowhere, which I'm happy it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, maybe halfway, maybe at that quarter point, we're like, I'm not getting anywhere with this.
I ask myself, what was the point of that? It was just felt like it was kind of an unnecessary fit for a movie like this. It shouldn't have happened.
Who wrote this movie? Terry George?
Yeah, Terry George.
Oh.
Terry George co-wrote it with someone. I forgot the other writer.
Oh, okay. Oops. So if you ever meet Terry George, ask him.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Like, hey, Terry, why did you edit a weird love triangle about the Armenian Genocide? I want to know. Do you want to make a rom-com at some point?
You got to do it very angrily, though. You got to get all in his face and stuff about it.
Okay, let me see. Terry George! Make a better movie!
Not wrestling. not like Macho Man Randy Savage.
Well, Macho Man Randy Savage is awesome. Maybe they can do it. Well, unfortunately, he passed away, so no, he can't.
He can't do it.
He can't do it.
We'll send Stone Cold Steve Austin to talk to him.
Maybe. Maybe.
So, okay, so I mean, the critics' reviews pretty much are in line with what you were saying. Again.
That's just how Digby does it.
Right. And then the audience reviews, there was a lot of positive reviews.
Was it mainly Armenians?
No, I don't know. I didn't see any. Although there was an Ottoman M.
Hey!
And I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I did a review, guys.
Right.
I forgot to tell you guys.
In 2017, Ottoman was 11 years old.
I think I was like 10 years old.
When they completely screwed up the thing. But no, there was a lot of non-Armenians that at least posted on their reviews. Yeah,
I mean, again, it has a lot of money in it. More than
it was a big investment. They didn't make any money though.
No, it bombed at the box office probably because it had a very short window.
What year was this?
2017.
This is at the height of the Marvel. Like, people aren't going to movie theaters to watch anything but like cartoons and Marvel movies at this point.
Pretty much. I mean, not really animated films. Some for sure.
I think it was. I don't know how many theaters it was in either.
It probably was not shown that much theaters.
At $90 million, you think it would be?
It wasn't. I don't think it was.
What are you going to do?
It probably had a short window.
Well, for whoever did see it, I think they all enjoyed it for the most part. And there was a lot of... I did sift through...
I mean, it has a 91% audience score.
Yeah, I did sift through... There was hundreds of them, too. So it wasn't like...
Now,
the critic score was... There was a lot of critics reviews, too.
Now, that doesn't...
Not like Amerigazzi. Amerigazzi had like 25, 30 each.
Oh, yeah. But doesn't always qualify for a good movie, but...
No, it doesn't. But you get the kind of general consensus of it. Like Rosalind D., she gave it 5 stars. It's a stunning movie. I am not generally a fan of war movies, but this one is a must-see. I started watching it on SBS. I don't know what that is. And was hooked from the first scene. It documents an important and little-known aspect of World War I, but with a plot, characters, and a love story that engages from the first moment. So maybe that was for the ladies. Maybe the love triangle was for the ladies.
Maybe it was for the ladies, but...
Rosalind seemed to enjoy it.
But... I agree with her for the most part. The part I don't agree with is that it didn't exactly hook me at first. It took a while for me to really get me emotionally invested in a story.
It's slow moving.
It's a very slow movie.
I would have liked to see more resistance. I got myself
invested when he went to the prison, the labor camps.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the... That was the beginning.
That's where I started to get myself emotionally invested.
Yeah, for me, the movie started when his uncle was taken away.
There are scenes... I can't call the movie stunning because, again, there's some weird green screens that kind of find distracting.
A lot of the scenes in the mountains were very well.
I actually liked the train scene.
The train scene was great, too.
The train scene looked really nice. There was a nice looking orange to it.
Yep.
Kind of reminded me of... I can't compare it to that, but it reminded me of... Do you ever heard of the movie called The Assassination of, Jesse James?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that.
That's that kind of landscape.
Yeah, it kind of gave me that.
West.
But I can't call this movie a stunning movie because there's some weird green screen effects I just kind of found very distracting for this kind of movie.
If Turkey...
I understand that.
If the government of Turkey finds its moral compass, we could film there next time. There could have been
a way to make it look like it's from Turkey. I think you could have found a way.
They did. That's just all they got. That's all they got. So, runes... I think it's just Handel. I don't think that's a real name.
No?
No. 2 out of 5 stars.
Uh-oh.
A movie with an interesting topic loses all charm when the weak romance starts. The cast tries to show something, but fails to really capture the essence of the story. Still, the fight, resistance, and sad facts about this tragedy make this movie worth watching. Yeah.
That's true. Now, I do agree with the weird love triangle. That is still
we've been
weird.
talking about it for an hour. What I would have liked to talk about...
It is definitely weak, though, for sure. They barely had any chemistry.
What I would have loved to talk about mainly is the Armenians kicking ass.
My thing is that I just find it very uninteresting, just because I don't really find Oscar Isaac's character at the first half very interesting.
Yeah.
That's just me. I don't find him a particularly interesting character in the first half, but he gets better. As I've said many times, he gets better as he goes on, and he becomes much more empathetic and starts to have a bit more depth to him when he starts losing all of his family. And
I think so.
That's to me the most compelling part of that character. I
still tell you.
I think most of the people just kind of watched the first half and it kind of just turned it off and like, what is this movie?
No, I still think he did a phenomenal job in this movie.
He was really good.
You're only as good as the writing, right? So
the writing isn't perfect. It's all right.
He had me when he spoke Armenian at the end. I thought he pronounced everything right. He spoke eloquently.
He did a pretty good job.
He did a pretty good job, I think, for somebody that doesn't speak the language at all. Armenian is a very difficult language to speak, even to memorize. So,
there's different types of Armenian languages too. There's
we have a couple dialects.
Russian.
No, there's no
Russian Armenian.
No, there's no Russian Armenians. There's an Eastern and Western dialect, and we speak the Western dialect, and then in Armenia and Iran, they speak an Eastern dialect. But even the Armenians in Iran, I would say, even have even a distinct dialect too. But it's similar.
That is kind of it.
That is it. I thought it was a good movie.
This was a very interesting month. It was a good way for us to, I think, watch films that aren't, made in America. It was nice to watch. Well, besides the Witches of Eastwick, of course.
Right. Well, actually, a lot of these movies were made with an American audience in mind. Actually, all of them were.
Yeah, but they were filmed somewhere else besides Witches of Eastwick, of course.
Yeah, I mean, they were filmed somewhere else, but they were made for an American audience. They weren't made for, like, an Armenian audience.
But I'm going to be honest with you, the best film I watched this month was Witches of Eastwick. That movie was so fun. I don't care. That movie is very fun.
Right. I think Cher did a good job of it. For me...
Cher's very good in the movie.
For me, I enjoyed Amerigazzi the most. Mm-hmm. And I think I like that movie the most. I think, Planet of the Apes was fine, but Planet
of the Apes, where did that come from?
If we're talking about the Armeno-centric movies, it's Amerigazzi for me, and then The Promise. My Uncle Raphael was funny and fun to watch, but
I wouldn't call that movie even that funny either. I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of forgot about it. But this was an interesting month, although a lot of times I didn't have a lot to say with most of the films, besides Witches of Eastwick, but it was very nice to watch a couple of Armenian films that I never really get the chance to watch.
Yeah, I think you're at an age where, you can appreciate them more and
watch it.
Yeah, and understand, and kind of, you have a interest in film and cinema, and this is a topic that, that where film and cinema are starting to find creative outlets for. So,
definitely give these movies a chance, if you're asking me. Even, well, the only one I don't recommend personally is My Uncle Raphael. I think you should...
Yeah, watch it. Who cares? You got an hour and a half to kill.
Not really.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
But definitely check these movies out, seek these movies out, especially Witches of Eastwick. If you like Mad Max, watch Witches of Eastwick. But,
I would say Amerigazzi.
But this was a very good...
I didn't even like Witches of Eastwick that much this time around. This
was a very interesting month, so...
It was an interesting month.
This was
kind of wraps up Armenian Heritage Month.
But this has been fun.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, and we'll come up with something else.
We'll catch you on the next one. And I don't know what are we going in May? I don't know what May's bringing, but we'll let you know. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.